that's just really kind of a sandbox for disposable fun ideas that we get to just kind of play around with and do it, have fun, and really not think about it again.
Have you come up with something that you thought was just going to be a short, and then it ended up being part of long form?
Well, we are developing Bat Fight the movie, and that is the big thing. I just want to talk about Bat Fight. No, has that ever happened? I don't think so.
It hasn't happened yet, you know.
Stephen, go ahead.
Mark, I wanted to ask you about your input into this and about your character's transition from wanting to be a detective his whole life and happy to be a traffic cop.
I basically just did whatever they told me. I learned the lines and I'd show up and, you know, I'd say the lines, and then if they want me to try anything else, I'd certainly be, you know, willing to try anything.
You know, let me say this. Let me jump in. Sorry.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you something. Everybody felt this guy's like ridiculously funny, and that's the thing I think.
I'm killing it right now.
No. Yeah, I mean, am I right? Me, McKay, and Will would go, who the fuck knew this was in this guy? You know what I mean? And well, they would say fuck. I would.
I knew.
No, and I mean, like, he does voices and impressions, and like, I was knocked out. I was ready for this guy, because when you look at him sometimes you think, he's nice enough, he looks like he's going to kick my ass, and that doesn't feel necessarily, you know, comfortable, but he's really funny. I mean, and he's really funny in this movie.
Well, he's got such a great, like, kind of small instincts that, you know, of character and everything, and then when he starts pointing it towards the comedy, it's just a pleasure to watch.
Because he commits to the reality. There's a scene where he starts to break down. I'm doing the scene with him, and it's tears up. Well, you know, I'm like inside going, this is crazy. And I got to keep a straight face, and the guy has like tears in his eyes because he's so committed to his sickness.
What about the ballet steps? Was that a double?
Yeah, I thought it was easier than it was. I trained with a guy for a while, and then when it came down to it, I couldn't really go.
That's not true. You're being a little hard on yourself. He actually did learn all the steps and had them pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it's just the jumps and the spins are, unless you're a world-class athlete, kind of impossible to do.
Not really.
Yeah. Michael learned them.
Keaton was doing it off camera. You just showed up to set that day.
Yeah. Well, I knew the scene. I thought it might help. Whatever.
Michael was very good at it. Most people would have a hard time. And, Michael did show up and do all the steps. And, it was weird. It was weird that he did that.
Well, I had the outfit. That was what was weird.
Yeah.
Mark, did you have any input in the shooting of Derek Jeter?
No, but I was certainly thrilled. And, you know, I felt bad after you guys. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But we're going to screen the movie in Boston on the 3rd of August, and I cannot wait.
Crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I just became a legend.
I gotta make sure I send ahead of my shipment of Laker caps to head out to the. That's a cool. Note to self. Palette of Laker caps to Boston.
Adam, how did you decide to use the Ponzi scheme in the story? Very interesting.
Well, we talked about the idea when we were doing this movie, because, I mean, the cop buddy genre is like kind of it's like a pretty difficult genre. It's almost dead in a weird way. Like, it started to get so sort of stale towards the end, and there have been a bunch that hadn't kind of hit in the 90s and the early 2000s. So it was sort of a tough thing. But the one thing we said was the reason you could do this is that the perception of crime has changed. So the fact that Bernie Madoff just stole $90 billion and that, you know, these banks basically stole $1 trillion, all of a sudden, like, drug smuggling and those things got kind of quaint. So we thought it was a great idea to sort of involve that. We kind of felt like it was the only crime you could have in it. The problem is a lot of it's on paper, and a lot of it happens through long-term lobbying and, like, really dry kind of things. So we obviously had to kind of give some muscle to it. But we felt like it was essential, even though it's not the main part of the movie, and you kind of think of it just as the plot. The jeopardy and kind of reality of that, I think, kind of makes you care about what they're doing in sort of crucial scenes. So yeah, it was very important.
Go ahead, James.
For the entire cast, were you concerned about Kevin Smith doing a buddy cop comedy And were you relieved when that movie turned out to be horrible?
No comment.
What movie?
Cop Out?
Oh, right.
There's a lot of jokes and poking fun at pop culture. Was that in the script, or did you each contribute one of those pop culture jokes?
A lot of that was in the script.
Well, some of it is,
I don't remember.
a lot of people don't know this about Keaton, but you go into his trailer, VH1 Classics,
Yeah,
VH1 always on, like top 100 and one-hit wonders, like, he's
Not only
he's
that,
a-
I work pretty closely with a lot of sociology and anthropology professors.
Poster? He's the real culture vulture down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about your work with sociology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is for Michael and Mark. Michael, do you have any job which, like, your character has a kind of double job? So it's
Yeah.
kind of one job is kind of you cannot tell anyone else or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have this kind of lousy job area your career?
I do.
And-
I have one now, yeah.
And, and Mark, could you talk about the Entourage movie?
Well, we hope to do one, but we still have another season and a half to go, so they could certainly mess it up.
Well,
See what I mean about being funny?
Some of the jokes in this could go pretty raunchy. The Dirty Mike stuff has the possibility of going pretty raunchy. The mother stuff has the possibility. Is there an R-rated cut of this somewhere in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's all Dirty Mike.
We had a version of the Dirty Mike that was like 5 minutes long, just me saying horrible things we were going to do in the Prius with these guys. And
Trying to convince us to allow him to do it.
yeah, it's not going to be as creepy as you think. It's a bunch of transients with some mustard and a poodle having a good time. It's like, and we showed it at our friends and family screening, but of course they kind of know us, so everyone roared with laughter and we're like, oh my God, this is so funny. And then we showed it at a regular screening, just with recruited people, and you have never heard a run bomb like that in your entire life. People were horrified. My wife was kind of mad at me after she saw it. So that having been said, of course that's on the DVD. So yeah, there's some raunchy extras.
Now, not that we could expect any traction with asking something serious, but I thought the end credits were brilliant. I mean, we've come to expect things like outtakes or something funny, and instead you've got something that I think is better than anything Michael Moore has ever done. Of laying out the issues. Talk about that juxtaposition of making us laugh for 90 minutes and then saying, and here's the real joke on us.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the credits, the nice thing about credits is you do them when you're done with the movie. So we sort of finished the movie and then looked at it, and we kind of hit on some of these financial things, but I kind of felt like, God, it's not a partisan issue. It's not a right-wing, left-wing issue. It's just kind of what's going on. I thought, is there a fun way to sort of, hey, you just laughed, but by the way, this is ridiculously awful. And at the same time, still have it be fun. So Picture Mill did our credits. I sort of said, can you show us some statistics, because they're all striking and so outrageous, but do it in a kind of almost Pink Panther animated kind of way, and they came up with that idea. But yeah, I love the way they pulled it off. I think it's like a perfect kind of balance. They're fun to watch. And then you get to hear the Pimps Don't Cry song from Ava and CeeLo from Gnarls Barkley. That's actually CeeLo from Gnarls Barkley singing with her. And so it was a great opportunity to sort of throw those things. And then we didn't anticipate that the Pimps Don't Cry would play perfectly thematically over statistics about CEOs and